Hollycotton here, and you guys know I love to see not only a success story, but someone that's doing things to inspire other people. And I cannot wait for you guys to hear this story today. So I have Braxton T. Fleming, who is a visionary behind Stealth Bros and Company, and he's going to tell us about his entrepreneurial journey. And Braxton is a trans entrepreneur lighting the path for a brighter future. He has this really cool product for the trans community. Braxton's been on Shark Tank. He's a dad. He's out here doing things, representing for the trans community. So, welcome, Braxton. Nice to meet you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here.
So, first of all, what I wanted to just go into, Braxton, because everyone on your page is
Yeah.
always in your comments asking questions because they all don't know how to mind their business, first of all, and second, because the internet has made it safe for people to be rude, for people to be disrespectful, for people to just say whatever it is they want to say, even though it's hurtful stuff. People are
Yeah.
still just hiding behind the keyboard saying whatever they want to say. So I know that it's a sensitive story, but you've told it a million times now.
Yeah.
So can you tell us your story of basically of where you started? And you guys, he has some videos on his page as well that are super cute, super funny. He tells us how he made a YouTube when he decided to go through his transition to his parents because he was like, listen, let me give y'all a chance to process this, do the
Yes.
video.
Yes. Yeah.
So just give us some insight and tell whatever you want to disclose to us about your story of transitioning.
Okay, great. Well, honestly, I didn't start transitioning until I was 27 years old. I went through my life with very diverse parents who really never judged me. So it was really hard for me to find the language around how I was feeling and who I was. But when I was 27 years old, I also was a licensed practical nurse for 7 years at that time. And I felt like I was missing something in my life. And my mom and my dad, they're like, you're established, you have a career, you started so early, you're doing well. You're not missing anything, you're doing fine. But I just kept feeling like something was missing. And then what happened was I stumbled across a YouTube video where I related to another transgender man. And I honestly was in denial. I was like, you can do this? Like, this is impossible. Like, I was really ignorant to the whole transgender community up until that point. And then as time went on, I was just connecting so much with these videos to the point where it was really affecting my mental health. And then that's when I sought therapy, and then I started on the hormones myself, and then my transitional journey started at that point.
Okay, so first of all, let me just say this. I
Yeah.
knew it had to be. So I'm a nurse as well. So I actually teach nursing now. But I still practice on nursing. That's my side hustle now because
Okay.
Hollycotton is my main hustle. But
Yes.
but I knew it had. I was like, God, when I looked at your invention, which I don't want to mess it up. I don't
Yeah.
even want to call it an invention, but whatever your product. I was
Right.
like, how did he come up with a sharps container? Like that's such a unique thing. So I see that medical. Okay, that medical background.
Yes.
I love it. I
Yes.
love it. So
Absolutely.
let me before we go into further about where you started to where you are now.
Right.
I know that this video might actually affect someone that was where you were. Someone may come across this video on my YouTube or your YouTube, whatever, on Instagram, and they're like, wait a minute, and they start stalking your page, and they're like, oh
Mhm.
wait, that's me, that's a
Right.
me. So
Right.
before we go into anything further, give us a little bit of the like. I know you said it was affecting your mental health. Can you just
Right.
go into a little bit more? Because I know that's got to be a struggle to be in a body, and it's like
Yeah.
I don't know because I'm
It's
not, but I know y'all struggle with it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, my personal experience, it was really crazy because I was in this, uh, you know, lesbian relationship for 10 years. Well, it was like 7 years at the time when I started the transition. Um, and it was weird. It was like, I didn't want her to like touch me a certain way. I didn't want to there were certain things in I felt like I needed to be like overly exertedly masculine within our relationship, and I really never had the language to say, this is why I don't want you to touch me this way. This is why I have to take out the trash and I want you to do this. Like, I was trying to live in these such traditional roles, and I was, I just wasn't happy. And I feel like once I started to watch the videos and I was like, wow, okay, now I understand why I feel like this. And then it really wasn't until I went to therapy after I had all these emotions where the therapist dug so deep into my past where I was answering my own questions, where it was like, okay, I understand why, I had five god brothers, and my sister and my one god sister, they were like best friends, but I was always quadding, playing basketball, always outside with them. Like, it was like so many different parts of my life. I even remember when I was, laying in bed at night, and I would literally wish that I was a boy because I wanted to be more like my god brothers. And it wasn't like I'm this child who is saying, I wish I was a boy, but the feelings that I had internally, because I didn't have the language then, I just knew I wanted to be like them. But I also knew that because of gender roles, inadvertently, that I could not be them. And, I think that was a big pressure on my life. And I never really realized how much it affected me until I went to therapy and I was really able to work through those emotions to where I was able to say, yes, this is really who I am, and this is what I need to do in order to live a fulfilled life.
And that's what I was thinking the whole time when you were talking. I'm glad you said those words, gender roles, because I think people dismiss it a lot of times because they think, oh, it's stereotypical, or oh,
Right.
it's not really a thing. But there really are roles that people, for whatever reason, we have it in our head. Like, the man should take out the trash, the man
Right.
should be a provider, the man
Right.
should do that.
Right.
So I know one of the questions, because I did look up like just some information, and I know a lot of the questions, or I guess comments, that you get in the trans community gets is, why don't you just live as a gay person or as a bisexual person?
Right.
So can you educate people on, because like you said, you were in a lesbian relationship, but you
Right.
weren't because you weren't identifying as
Right.
a woman. So can you
Right.
just define that and explain it to people for the last time?
Yes, yes, I can. I will. And I'll also say one thing too before that is, like, when I was in that relationship, it was when people identified me as lesbian, even before, because she was my first like real girlfriend and I was with her for 10 years. But either way, I something in my heart did not like the word lesbian. I have nothing against lesbians, but for me personally, I didn't identify that way, but I didn't know how to express that. But let's talk about what you asked. There's two different things. There's your identity, how you identify, which is how you show up every day, and then your sexual orientation. So, okay, so I identify as a trans man. I want to be perceived as a man, but that doesn't mean that when I go home at night that I may want to have sex with women. I may want to have sex with men. I personally do not. I have a cisgendered fiance at home, but ultimately, for people, they have that option. Just because you identify as a man doesn't mean you have to be with women. That's why there are gay men and two men are together. It's the same thing with transgender individuals. Just because a female transitions to a male and they present to the world as a male, someone like myself, doesn't mean that we have to be with women just because we want to present as a male. We may still sexually enjoy being with men, and that's something that people have a hard time wrapping their heads around. Even I did when I first started transitioning, because I had this very strong traditional lifestyle that I even kind of still live today. But ultimately, you have to respect it. If people, how you identify and who you go to bed with are two different things. And I think that's the main thing people need to understand.
Thank you for explaining that. Yeah, because I know it's like, and I see comments, and like I said, and since I
Right.
started following you, my explore page, it's like I'm like, my daughter says I'm an ally. She's like,
Yeah,
oh, okay, ally.
you
But I'm
are.
like,
You are.
I'm looking on my page, and I'm like, okay, so now I got everybody's just transgender on my page. But I know that there's so many things, like, and people will highlight the comment, like on TikTok, you can take the comment and you can answer it, and people are like,
Yes.
well, why don't you just be gay, or why don't you just do stuff? And then whoever is that's talking that's trans is like, because I'm not, that's not what I am. And if you
Right.
guys follow Brax, which we're going to make sure you do at the end of this, but you see he is a happy man. He has a beautiful daughter, beautiful wife, or wife, right?
Fiance, we're
Fiance.
getting there. We're getting there.
Okay, baby steps, baby steps. No pressure, no pressure.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying he has a beautiful family, and
Yes.
it looks like a traditional family. There is no, bisexual or lesbian. Like that's it. You're the male gender role, and the
Right.
gender role. She's the female and the mom, and the
Yes.
baby is so cute too. I love
Thank
the baby girl. I love it.
you.
I love it.
Thank you.
Okay, so some of the other questions I want to ask, because you have so many videos and I love that you make it fun. And I
Yes.
love that you take something that somebody else could really take to heart, like,
Yeah.
because some of those comments are hurtful. And I love that you take a real effed up comment and you're like, you know what? I'm about to make a little dance video about it now because you guys want to you want to make fun of me. So when you started with your testosterone, because I know one of the videos I thought was really interesting was you sitting down and telling the audience about when you started testosterone and how you were feeling these emotions and these hormones and you were feeling angry, and
Right.
how that testosterone actually helped you process that. So can you give us some insight into like when you started testosterone and how that transition with the hormones started and helped you sort of have a equalized mental health?
Absolutely. When I first started testosterone, obviously I was estrogen based as a female. So just facts. When you're estrogen based, you're just more emotional. You're able to cry more. You're just able to show a lot more emotion. And I feel like, from a woman's perspective, is that the emotion is like all over your body. You encompass that emotion. But as I got onto testosterone, there is a period of time where your hormones are fluctuating. So obviously, like, there's mood swings, there's ups, there's downs. It doesn't happen for everybody, but majority of us do go through a fluctuation just because of off of the factual information of how much hormones you have running in your body with the medication. So once I started the hormones, I realized that I was still emotional, but emotional in a different way, where my emotion was coming more from a place of like a little bit of aggression, and it was coming from my chest. And then I was able to step back and say, maybe, just looking at as men as a whole versus women as a whole, this is why women react in this emotional way, and then this is why men react in this emotional way. And then I was able to really do like just self work, outside of being transgender, but just self work and analyzing myself and saying, I don't want to be this angry man. I don't want to become that. And what can I do to harness that? But what I realized is that once my levels started to balance out, like my estrogen went down to a regular biological male's level, because we all have estrogen and we all have testosterone, but then my testosterone was at a normal functioning male level. I started to be able to take more control of that anger and really, just channel it into the gym and start to do more active things, because I realized that like I said, like before, as a female, my emotion was so like encompassing my body. But as a male, it's like an energetic feeling where it's like a rush. And I knew I had to control that in some way. So that's when I really started to get into the gym. And that's why I go there, really just for my mental health, to keep me on a level playing field, and it keeps my anger way down when I am making sure that I release all of that prior to the day starting.
Got it. Well, Brax, I'm a gym buff as well.
Yes, I
See
see
him,
you. I
she
see
right
you.
there.
Yeah, I see.
So,
Those
I
shoulder heads look good. I'm not. That looks good. I see that.
thank you, thank you. But I say that all the time too. I'm like, listen, I go to the gym because if not, I'm gonna kill someone. Like the level of just release that you have from going to a
Right.
gym. So I can definitely understand what you're saying, because I and also I think that, it has such a huge part on your mental health. I'm telling you, like, when I take a few days off from the gym, it seems like everything gets to me. Like, I'll even tell my girlfriend, like, something where before, like, I might brush it off or something,
Mhm.
when one of my men ain't acting right. It like really starts affecting me, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I forgot I hadn't gone to the gym in 2 days. This is why it bothers me, because the next day I'm back to pimping. I'm like,
Right. Yes, yes. I'm in the same boat as you. I feel the same way. When I don't go to the gym, I'm just like I just feel like I can't handle problems, that come up in my business or my personal life. It's harder for me to handle those problems. But when I do gym, I'm like, you know what? We're gonna find a solution. We're gonna get this done. We're gonna move forward, and that's it. And that's how I like to be. So I mean, I
same,
try to
same.
stay
I'm
on
like,
that.
so, and you get to be fine. You get to be walking around Instagram with no shirt on,
Yeah,
with
there you go. There
your
you
little
go. Yeah,
top
you
in.
feel good
Yeah,
about yourself. Yeah, for sure.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so what I want to do, and this is just for me, I don't care if the audience cares or not, but I'm just curious because I love whenever people achieve something that they like have desired for so long, or something that's just so important to them, and they actually get to that point. So
Right.
I want to know how it was when you started on testosterone and you started seeing like your little hair coming on your chin, or like you were like, oh my gosh, like I'm really doing it, because I know for the longest time it was something you wanted really bad, and then
Right.
now it's like you start getting it at whatever
Yeah.
age you were when it started. So how did that feel when you start, like, yeah, how
It
did
was
it, so, and how long did you have to be on hormone or testosterone, or is it just the one hormone that you're on?
Yes, just on testosterone. So I started to see changes around honestly 6 months when I was on T. That's when I started to have like a little bit of facial hair. But by the time I was a year on testosterone, I pretty much looked like this. I feel like my face has changed a little bit more over time just because I'm getting older now.
Mhm.
I'm 34 and I started at 27. So I think I'm just growing into just growing into myself more as time goes on, as anyone would. But yeah, it was amazing. It's really crazy because I think I don't know. Do you know Wawa? Do you know what a Wawa is?
The gas station.
Yeah, like
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I lived
Okay,
in,
so
I lived in
I,
DC for 5 years, so I know that whole East
okay,
Coast is.
or like a quick check or wherever anyone lives. But
Yeah.
either way, it was like, a little convenience store, and I held the door open for a man that was coming out or whatever, and he was like, "Thanks, boss. I really appreciate that." And like in that moment, it was like
He sees me
so
as a man.
right. You see me, you know what I mean, and that meant so much to me because I just wanted people to treat me how I viewed myself, and in that moment I knew. And then like as time went on and I started, I would have like women looking at me and I would be like it was a weird feeling because I'm like, oh wait, I look like this male now, and like they're attracted to me, and like it was really it's a really mind-boggling situation because one, for me, I lived as a female for 27 years of my life. So obviously, like, I was living this lesbian lifestyle, and I had women, I had men looking at me as well, but it was a different shift once I transitioned and I was presenting as male and I had eyes on me in a different way that I never experienced before. So it was pretty trippy, but I had a really good experience, so I can't complain too much.
And I just visualize it as you were saying as well. Like you held the door and he was like, "Thanks, boss," and you was like, "Oh
Yeah, yeah. Like I was like, that's right, right, yeah. And I like, keep moving, but yeah, no, that was really one of like a pivotal moment for me, when it came to my transition and just being seen.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that with us,
Of
Braxton.
course.
That was such a cute story. I love it. I love it. Okay, so now we got how you started, how you came out,
Mhm,
testosterone, all of
mhm.
this other stuff.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about how you came up with a product, and how you came up with having a product and saying, you know what, I'm gonna go on Shark Tank with this product as well. So
Yeah.
give us some insight into that. Like, how did that happen?
I always tell people it's like my life's path. Both my parents are entrepreneurs, so I think I have that in my soul just to grind it out and work hard. But honestly, I was like inadvertently assessing the men on YouTube, the trans men on YouTube, and I told myself when I first started the hormones, I had went to the Marshalls and I was looking for somewhere to put my hormones in, and I saw small toiletry bags, but it was like nothing specific to what I needed and nothing that I really liked. So I was like, you know, I'm going to create my own bag. And I said this when I was like maybe 4 or 5 months on T, very early, not even like maybe 3 months earlier than that. And I said, I'm going to make my own bag. And I didn't. I just continued like going into the community, building community, just talking to different people and seeing what they were like, going through the same things I was going through. And then once I got to the year point, I needed top surgery, and I was so burnt out as a nurse. I was like, I'm not working any overtime. How can I be more part of my community? Because I saw other trans men like making T-shirts to build money for their top surgery and things of that nature. And I
And that
said,
was which in the 2017, right?
yes,
Okay.
2017. So
Okay.
I said, I want to be a part of this community, but how can I also sell something that doesn't step on their toes, but like we all work together? Because I had felt like I had gained this sense of family and I didn't want to try to come in and be in competition with my brothers. I wanted to work alongside with them. So I realized that there was a void that we were needing with the bag. And I said, I can create my bag and they can have their hat brand, their t shirt brand, and my bag all in the same photo. And then we can support each other. And that was really my initial thought process. And then me and my 10-year long relationship, we had broken up. I had moved back into my dad's house. I was grown. I was feeling down. And I said, you know what? I spent my whole life, well, my whole life, but the last 10 years focused on this woman. I'm going to put something into myself and I'm going to max out this credit card and just see where it goes. And I did that. And it just turned into something so much bigger than just, you know, filling these needs for transgender individuals. Now the business is really encompassing all underrepresented medical communities. So if you're a diabetic, if you're going through IVF therapy, if you have a child that's like on an anaphylactic medication such as like EpiPens, if you're going through a weight loss journey and you're on the weight loss shot, you need somewhere to place these medications. And now where the business is at now, that's really what I'm trying to push. It's not just about the transgender community anymore. That's our foundation and we'll always stay true to that. But I want to be that bridge that brings communities together, and that's really what the N company is all about. It's and other communities that can come together in the company that we keep, that can work as allies, such as yourself or anyone else that may need the product.
Right. Well, one, the bags are super trendy. So I was
Thank you.
looking because of course I went and I looked at the bag and I was like, oh,
Mm.
okay, this is actually cool. And I
Yeah.
saw it, and then you also use it as like a gym bag. Like
Yeah,
I mean, it's very versatile. You can
for
use it on
sure.
so many different things. So it's not
Yeah.
just that. And so in the bag, there's like a little hard thing, right? Like it's a little insert.
It's a sharps container. So we sell that separately. I actually have a green one right here. So it's a small sharp shuttle. So if you're out and about, like I know with my fiance and I, we went through IVF therapy, and you have to take your injection. She went through IVF therapy. She carried the child, because people will ask that question. But we have two older sons too, and they have football. Like we live a busy life outside of here, so every day at 8 p.m. she had to take that shot. So whether we were at home in bed or we were in the car waiting for the kids to get done their basketball practice, she had to take that shot. So you can put this within one of our adopt kits, and then this way at least you're practicing safety while you're out. You don't have to worry about throwing everything into your purse or missing something. Everything's already organized for you, so that one, you're not having anxiety around taking this injection, because that's a whole nother story on its own. And then two, you feel more comfortable and more prepared when you're out and about, rather than being forced to leave somewhere early or to be somewhere late based off of needing to take that injection.
Okay, that makes sense. And I was reading, so it's also considered like a medical supply, or are you trying to get into like a medical supply industry, or are they already accepting it as like
So
a
yeah, so these are FDA approved containers. We do use an FDA approved supplier overseas that creates these for us, where we use the specific plastics that need to be approved to be considered a sharps container. So yeah, so we're through that. We also sell these in CVS. We're in over 4,000 CVS health stores nationwide. So you can purchase these only in the color black at CVS. So, but if you want the colors, you got to come to our website. But yeah, we're trying to push the envelope there.
yeah, I just wanted to make sure they put some respect on you, Brax. Like, let them
Yes.
know, like, this is not some little, whatever. So that's why I'm asking the specific question. So you can,
Yeah,
like,
no, for sure. No, for sure. Because, a lot of people say, oh, it's just a regular bag. I can get a regular bag from anywhere. But ultimately, what we're providing is, face value for those underrepresented communities. We want to bring light to those people who are hiding in silence and break the stigma around injectable needs as a whole and medication, because people see you with a pill bottle, they're already judging you because you're pulling your pills out. So we want to break that stigma and bring some light back to those people's lives who have to take this on a daily or a recurring basis.
I love that. So one, I love, love, love that you are doing it for trans community because you
Yes.
identified that problem and you are solving it. But I'm also so impressed that you also found the other angle of it as well. Because a lot of times when we're struggling with something, we get so segmented in, hey, this is what I'm dealing with, so I'm only focusing on this. But you
Right.
were able to see that, hey, this is not just us that are taking injectables, this is a whole community. These are
Right.
other diagnoses, these are people that have epipens or diabetes or whatever it is that they need. So
Right.
you like it just basically is an umbrella for a whole, like, anyone that needs it. And it's cute, or
Yes.
not cute, let me not say cute because men don't like cute. It's
I
trendy,
like cute.
stylish.
Listen, I like cute. I like cute. They're trendy, they're stylish, they're handsome, they're anything you want them to be. And that's why we create so many different styles so
Mhm.
that you can identify with something that suits your specific needs, regardless of who you are.
Right. You know what, Braxton? It sounds like you sold this product before on like national shows like Shark Tank or something.
For sure, for sure.
Oh, and I love, just so you guys know, he did get funded on Shark Tank.
Yes,
So
we
this
do.
little spiel actually was impressive, and
Yes.
it did pay off. So you got funded for that. So I know you told this a million times, and I don't want to have to go into the whole story about Shark Tank, but you you going on Shark Tank and you getting funded, can you just give us a little insight? Because people don't understand, like you said in one of your videos, the pressure of
Yeah.
going on there and like asking for money. And then what people think happens after, like, just
Right.
give us a little synopsis of how that felt going on Shark Tank and immediately after what your expectations were and what actually happened.
Right, absolutely. Well, going on Shark Tank was super exhilarating. I mean, I felt like I had an outer body experience because I had practiced that walk and that pitch for months prior to actually recording the show. So it was super amazing, but I'm a big visionary and I envisioned obtaining a deal. I was so determined that that's all that I could see. So when it happened for me, a lot of people were at this point. They're like, oh, they're so excited. Even when the show aired, I was very reserved because not that I wasn't happy, I was super ecstatic, but I had worked so hard for so many months to get to that point and envisioned myself so many times, that once I obtained it, I felt a little bit of like imposter syndrome, and it was really hard to wrap my head around like what, even till this day, which is like a year later, I still have a hard time, accepting that that happened. Even though I did receive the funding and I have
Did that really happen? Were
it
you
happened,
you dream something, like you're like, did that happen or did I dream that? Yeah.
right. And then like you have these expectations afterwards. Obviously, you think that the sharks are going to just come in and, oh, we're going to just take over your marketing and your finance and we're going to push you forward and give you all these grand opportunities and you're going to be rich and set for life. But ultimately, that's not what happens at all. It's still your business. They are just investors. They just give you the funding, but they invest in people that they believe in and that they feel like can really push the envelope with their businesses. But that doesn't mean that I don't have an abundance access to resources that Mark and Barbara offer me at all times whenever I need it. So it's not that you get this this huge turnaround and you're rich right away. It's definitely not like that at all. But you do have access to resources, and it's just like any entrepreneur, any business owner will tell you that you have to do the work. Like, you can have opportunity and it can be in front of your face, but if you're not willing to dig yourself through the mud and touch that opportunity, then it's not going to be there for you. So you have to do the work. So I am still hustle bustling. I am still grinding every single day. I am still doing everything that I can to push the business, even though I do have a billionaire investor and I have Barbara Corcoran, major real estate investor. But that doesn't change. Just because their net worth is what it is doesn't change my specific net worth. So I still have to work for me. So ultimately, it was amazing because the money came in right when I needed it. I had just launched in CVS. I had a lot of product that needed to be paid for. So everything happened on God's time. Everything happened in the aligned service that it needed to happen. And they are there for me when I need them most. And I think that's the best part about it, is that you have these resources that you can really lean into if you lean into them. If you don't ask for help, you're not going to get help. Closed mouths don't get fed. So you got to do the work.
Right, and tell everyone again where what the product is where in the CVS. So if someone is like listening to this podcast right now on their AirPods in CVS, and they're like, "Oh, I'm in the CVS right now," what what is?
So yeah, you can go to any CVS nationwide. We're not in every single store, but we're in 4,000 stores nationwide. If you go onto CVS.com, you can put in Stealth Bros, and then you can put your area code in and see what stores are around you that have it. But we only offer our shuttles, so our small sharps container in a bundle pack of 4. It actually looks like this on the shelves. This is our packaging, and you can pick this up at
White
CVS.
box, black banner.
Yes. And this is right in the diabetic section of the store. So if you go back to the pharmacy, you'll be able to find it. And, like I always tell people, whether you're diabetic, going through IVF, you're transgender, or you're a mobile barber and you have razors, they also use sharps containers. There's so many different, even tattoo artists, they use sharps container. Maybe you don't want that ugly right in
Home
your
health nurses, home health
yeah,
nurses.
home health nurses. I mean, there's so many, that could possibly use this product. So if you need it, head over to CVS or head over to stealthbrosco.com and we'll hook you up.
I love that. I love that. Just because, sometimes you might be listening to something and then they say, and you're like, oh, actually, I'm actually at the Walmart right now, or I'm in CVS
Yeah,
right now. Let me go
yeah,
look. So look for that white box, black banner.
yeah.
Okay. so, so I know, I just appreciate so much, Braxton, for giving us the insight in your story. And I know that it's got to be so hard looking at those comments I'll tell you, just even me as sort of transitioning to this, not thinking it was ever going to happen, being an influencer. I was like, well, me, because I'm like, well, I don't know why y'all looking at me, but okay, whatever. But
That's
it,
why they
yeah,
like that. They like that.
I know. But so I see comments because I keep pop ups on my phone, and I see comments because I'm not going to let you come on my stuff and write something. I have children. My kids are older. My kids, their friends follow me. I'm not going to have a comment about, come sit on my face or whatever. Like, I mean, just people write the craziest stuff in a
They
comment, and
really,
I'm like,
yeah.
why would you put that on a comment? So I keep the pop-ups because as soon as I see a negative comment, I just delete it. So I know I don't even have a controversial life. So
Yeah.
the comments that I get are in no way in comparison to the stuff that you see. And so I just want to give you an opportunity to just sort of like tell us about, stop doing that, or how that affects people, because we can act like
Right.
we're not bothered by it, but I know that it's some of that stuff's gotta hurt, because it hurts me to read it, and I'm not even you, and I read some comments and I'm just like, God, y'all
Yeah.
are ridiculous.
I mean, it is like it does sound really bad. I mean, I don't want to say it bother, even though I've been on this streak where I've been clapping back for like the past week, which has been pretty fun.
Sometimes
but
you just pull that petty out. Like you
yeah,
want
but
it, you got it
sometimes
today.
I clap back. Sometimes it's all in the good fun. I was traveling and on the flight, so I said, why not? Let me answer some of these people. But ultimately, it is hurtful. But I know that people who are like really like coming at me, I'm like, there's obviously like a deeper reason in you on why you're so upset at me. Like, I'm not affecting your life in any way. Like, yes, we're all have the ability to comment and to say what we want, but you're really coming harshly and negatively when in reality, like, I've never said anything to you at all. So it's really it's honestly, I'm more sad for that person than angry at them, because I know that they probably are having a miserable life. I probably run circles around them as far as being a man, as far as a family, my bank
You
account.
wish you
I
wish
mean,
you wish your beard
right.
connected.
I mean, the beard. I mean, those are just, it's like, come on. But at the end of the day, people are going to hate you for something. You know what I mean? You're going to be, I'm too short, I'm too dark, I'm too light, you're too skinny, you're too fat. There's so many different reasons why people say what they have to say. My reason is that I'm transgender, because they don't say anything else about me. They know they won't say anything else, but they'll just speak about that, which means, okay, so I know you find me attractive, I know that I'm living this great life, and I know there's really nothing else you can say but attack me for my transition, which is fine, because there has to be something that you attack me for. So I'm just like any other human being, but my thing is that I'm trans, and that's just what I get attacked for. But as long as I'm safe, my daughter's safe, I really don't care. You know what
Right.
I mean?
And because Braxton be going to the gym, you don't want no
Yeah.
hands, you don't want no
Yeah. Yeah.
problem.
I'm little, but I'm pretty strong. Like, we
Right,
can,
right. Like don't let this fool you. If
don't
you
let
want
it
some
fool you.
hands,
Don't let it fool you. Don't
I
let
love
it fool
it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so close up, Brax. Tell
you. Okay.
everyone how they can follow you, support you, all that great stuff. Drop your website again. I know you said it earlier, but just go reiterate it. How they can like, follow, support, all of that.
Okay, so if you want to follow me and all my talks and all my fun dancing videos, then you can follow me at sire.brax. So it's SIRE.BRAX. And then for all of my business pages, it's Stealth Bros Co. And you can find us also at stealthbrosco.com or at cvs.com. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But I'm out there. Google me, Braxton T Fleming, and you can find me all over the place.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for telling your story. We definitely appreciate it. You definitely inspired me. I'm
Oh,
going
thank you.
to woosah a little bit more today, because I'm like, you know what? If Brax can shut up and not go cuss people out, I need to take that, and I need. I'm gonna follow his path. I'm gonna follow his example. So thank
Yes,
you,
yes.
Brax.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Great, great. Okay, don't hang